Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerdpocalypse Podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
And Terrence.
What's up?
All right, guys. We are back. We have plenty to talk about, so we're going to get right into it. Checked out this week. There is a review. There is the spoiler-free, and now there is the spoiler review for the Marvels. You can check those things out in our podcast feed. You can also check out our review of Loki Season 2. That includes spoilers as well. So if you haven't seen that, just be aware of that. But both of those reviews are up in the feed. So just a heads up. Terrence, you watched The Killer?
I did.
Okay.
You haven't finished it? You didn't finish it?
I didn't have a chance to finish it, no.
And Micah, you didn't even start it?
Not yet. I'm gonna try and watch it tomorrow, actually.
Right.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
I watched it twice. The first time I watched it, I was half asleep. And this is not a movie where you want to be half of anything when you watching it. Because
that I agree with. I 100% agree with that.
Right. So the half that you saw, yeah, you have to be alert and attentive. It's not a very difficult plot. Like he's an assassin and he fucks up. And something happens and he's going out. He's getting revenge for what happened to him. First time I watched it, I'm like, yo, this is mad fucking boring, right? The first 23 minutes and 50 seconds is nothing but narrative. Voiceover narrative.
Like monologue.
Yeah. Until he actually says a word in the movie. And I'm like, I don't know about all this. And then something happens. I'm like, oh shit, that's fucked up. He actually says that. He says, oh shit too, or fuck. But as the movie goes on, there's a little bit more. I think it's like 90% narrative and like 10% actual, dialogue from actual people in the movie. It's really wild. It's interesting. Second time I watched the whole thing and picked up on some things that I didn't see before. It's pretty good. It's not David Fincher's best movie. Like,
I thought you were gonna. I thought because the way you've been like,
I like that first watch through. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? But you have to pay attention. Like you have to, because it's just him. Like Michael Fassbender does a lot of like body acting through his face, through his body, and he's very good at it. Like he's got this intense stare that I think that nigga might be an actual assassin. Like in real life. I mean, he was in Assassin's Creed. Think about it.
Watch your mouth, Brad. Yeah, see what happens.
Like it's pretty creepy how he portrays this guy. No one has any names. This is one really dope fight sequence about 40 minutes before the end of the movie. David Fincher. It's David Fincher. Of course, it's going to look great, right?
Right?
He never fails as far as looks are concerned. But this is not one of his best movies. Because he has so many great ones, but it's a good movie. I don't know if I would recommend it to everyone because clearly there's like they either hate it or love it. I'm not in either camp. I don't love it and I don't hate it. It's just a really good movie. It's just a solid movie. That's weird. Yeah, I think Micah, you would like it.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to watching it. It's been getting rave reviews. Like when you first kind of intimated that, like, I don't know about this, I was like, oh shit, like,
It's
damn it.
Yeah,
and you know, because you're
on that bet. I was like, oh, this is not looking good for me.
Yeah, like you're one of the people. You're one of the people that I go to for movie recommendations, and I'm seeing all these other people say, "Oh, it's amazing," and I'm like, okay, but like,
not amazing. They need to come.
Like, some of these people.
I wonder if that's a love for Fincher, which is a fair.
I think that's If you love I love all of his movies. Like the only movie, like I didn't watch Mank, right? And Alien 3 was fine, but everything else, it's fucking knocked it out of. This is closer to The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, like visually.
I really like that movie. Like
visually, that's what this reminds me of. It's something, man. I like. And there are little things that you'll pick up on if you know like old old school sitcoms.
Mhm.
Like when he goes through the airport, he has a different name every time he goes to the airport. And if you pay attention to the names that he picks, they're all old school sitcom names.
Oh, that's
And I don't know if anyone has even picked up. I don't know if people have said anything about
there
that.
there have been articles about it. Like,
really?
Yeah, like here's all the sitcom names that he uses. I'm like, all right.
There was only
I'm
like
not
2
gonna-
that I didn't know, but the rest of them, I know who that is. Archibald.
I haven't.
Bunker.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, yo, come on, yo. It's got Archie
Bunker.
Bunker got to be one of them, yo.
Yeah, he had George Jefferson as one of them.
Come on,
That's
yo.
hilarious.
It's funny, man, but it's like it's interesting because the moments of violence, they're like, God damn, nigga, really?
Yeah,
Like, you didn't have to
pretty
do that.
extreme. Yeah,
You didn't have to. There was one in particular. I'm like,
I mean, the fuck up is pretty violent. You're like, oh, good.
yeah,
Like,
it's wild. I'm like, whoa,
It's jarring.
okay.
Yeah,
And then he goes on his revenge. He has a code, and he completely breaks his code because of what happens
right.
through the rest of the movie. I'm like, well, okay, I thought you were supposed to not give a fuck, but you do. So it's a movie that you have to pay attention to, is what I'll say. And like, you can't have it on in the background, or you're just gonna be like, what the fuck is going on? This is boring. So
I mean, that I'm not sure there is a better thing to say about this movie than you can't like, oh, I'm tired, I'll just throw this on. No.
I started at like 12:30, and then I watched it, but I was just like,
yeah, because I did the same thing, and that's why I haven't finished it. Because if I start to fall asleep on a movie and it's late night, that's not the movie's fault. That's my general exhaustion, and I try to recognize that. This movie, I made it probably about 30 minutes in, and I was like it was tough, and I'm just like, fuck, this is not the movie. Like, I'm interested in what's happening, but it is like that first like 20, 25 minutes is just a person with monologue. So you're just like, like there's no like kind of, besides visual feedback, there's no auditory feedback. So I was definitely like, all right, I gotta shelve this and come back to it. Like, and that's not the movie's fault. That's just when I started watching it. It was like 11 o'clock.
it was like that first 23 minutes shows how fucking boring being an assassin is.
And that's the whole point, right?
Until you actually have till you have to perform your task. You're just sitting there.
You're just sitting there.
Just like
ain't nothing cool about this shit. Like,
right.
This part sucks. Like, so yeah, I appreciated what I saw of it. So I'll have a chance to finish it, hopefully this weekend or sometime next week. All right. So by the way, I'll talk about more of it maybe next week once we have, I think, maybe 3 episodes out. I started watching the new season of Invincible. I've watched the first episode. I haven't seen the second one. I think the third one comes out in a couple of days. So we'll have a chance to chat about that maybe a little bit next week.
One more thing. I also checked out Matt Rife's special today.
What do you think of it?
Let me give a prediction. Let me give a prediction. Oh, it's not bad.
No, not really. No, it's not bad at all.
He's
I
not
was
a bad
shocked.
comic. He's actually not a bad comic.
Yeah, you know what? I'm very shocked by that because he is a crowd work guy, right? Of all the clips that I've seen, he's a crowd work. He's like D.L. Hughley in that.
No, he addresses.
Oh, really?
He addresses because he's become incredibly popular with like just young white women because he looks and he does crowd work. But no, this is a set. This is a legitimate stand-up set. And I'm like, wow, I didn't expect this from you, but it's pretty solid. It's not the funniest shit in the world, but it was pretty fucking solid. It was clever.
I mean, I was gonna say he's a pretty clever guy. Like, he's fast, even in his crowd work. Yeah, he's quick-witted, so that's good.
I don't like that black scent shit though. I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, he definitely has a black scent.
But his whole face is just a black scent. Like his whole face, he got big lip. Like, white people shouldn't have big lips. Like, that's weird. It's just weird. All right.
Like, it's like, oh, and like the whole thing is like how handsome he is. I'm like, he looks like a black guy with white skin tone. Like, he does. Like, he just has like a chiseled jawline. That's all it is.
Yeah, he looks like a caricature of a Chad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it just get out of here. I'm actually all right. I might watch it.
Check it out. I know the last set, his last bring it home joke. You'll enjoy it, Jay.
All right.
It's very funny.
All right,
it's
cool.
very funny.
Yeah, I mean the stuff I've seen,
and he's kind of offensive too. Which is
he definitely is.
Oh, okay.
I saw a clip that he had posted or someone had posted of him just doing. It was like a crowd work where it was like this woman. I guess she was maybe like in her 40s or something like that, and she was like totally into him, right? And she had like brought him something to the show or whatever, and he just like it was maybe 10 minutes of him being like, "Oh yeah, this is like," she was like, "Oh, this is a picture of my daughter." He was like, "This is your daughter?" Like. Both of y'all in this fight? Like, he was basically like, I would fuck you and your daughter, like, the whole time.
Yeah, I saw that. I've seen that clip.
Yeah, it was funny. Like, it was legit, and I don't think he was really kidding. Like, he was like, nah, but, like, for real.
No, I saw her.
Yeah. Like, right. Exactly.
I ain't even I'm not gonna lie. The daughter, nah.
Yeah, who cares?
Young,
who cares?
but the daughter, like the mother, I was like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
but no, it's a solid show, man. It's it's funnier than Country Wayne. Sorry,
I don't.
Like, that was just.
I don't think that guy's funny at all. So how about that?
That was just some nigga comedy. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm just not.
I don't think that guy's funny. I don't.
Comic view comedy that
right. Yeah, it's comic view comedy. White people drive like this, and black people drive like. All right, we got it. Like it's not 1995 anymore. Be a little bit more clever. All right, let's jump into topics this week. Micah, take it away.
Apparently, we got a couple of Denzel Washington stories. He's going to be in Ridley Scott's Gladiator 2. I'm wondering if it's just going to be called Gladiator 2. That doesn't seem like an epic enough title for a sequel to Gladiator. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's Gladiator 2. This time it's personal. Like what? Gladiator 2.
Gladiator 2. He's still dead. Wow.
In an interview with
4 years later. What the fuck?
Yeah,
86-year-old Ridley Scott is directing 68-year-old Denzel Washington, and he had an interview with Dateline, and he said the following that. In regards to Denzel working out very hard. It's his thing, said Scott. I think it's his manner, and obviously he's actually in a bad mood. I think it's just the way he is. He tends to be abrupt. You got to get used to that, but nevertheless, he's quite charming. Look, I will say this about Denzel Washington. This is not the first time that someone has accused Denzel Washington of being curt. But there was one thing. There was one thing that they had in common, and it's that they both look like the palm of my hand. Okay, because every time I see Denzel Washington with us, he is incredibly affable and charming. So I think Denzel, and he's an old man now. And he's established
68-year-old black man that don't
get the fuck out. I ain't dealing with this shit. Get out.
I don't have to. I literally don't have to.
I'm Denzel Washington, bitch. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, look, maybe Denzel's like that. I don't know. I'm more than fine if he is. He deserves it. Like, he deserves to be that way. Who cares? Fuck them. Look, I'm more interested in the actual role, though. Like, the story of the role sounds actually pretty interesting.
Ridley Scott kind of explains his role. He says he's a parallel character and the owner of a business that supplied weapons for the Romans, who supplied the oil when they traveled, who supplied the wine when they drank. They wouldn't drink water. They drank wine. Okay. When they traveled, who would supply the wagons and horses and tack? There had to be an arms dealer for the period. Here is a man who was already rich from supplying weapons, the catapults. His hobby is like a racing stable, except it's gladiators. He's got a stable of 30 or 40 gladiators. He likes to actually see them fight, and it evolves. That's where he came from. We gotta stop letting old people talk.
I didn't understand any of that.
That's fucking hilarious.
A bunch of words.
He's basically, from what I can decipher from this, he's basically like a slave master, right? Like he's an arms dealing slave master,
and he's apparently a former gladiator.
A former gladiator, yeah. Who kind of so he's a right wing. Pull yourself up by your sandal straps. Right. You know, selling, watching these gladiators. Yeah, he's
a vendor in an RPG. That's what he is.
Yeah, exactly.
So random shit. Like, okay.
If Larry Elder was a vendor in an RPG, you know what I mean? Like he's just
get the fuck out of here, Larry. Yeah, look, I'm looking forward to Gladiator 2. Please have a better title than that. I'm looking forward to it. I think Gladiator is a great movie. I'm glad that in 2023 we're doing a podcast where everybody on this podcast can agree and that we've all seen Gladiator like a bunch of goddamn adults. Because there was a time on this podcast where the host, one of them, not anybody here, said, I've never seen Gladiator. It looks lame to me. And I was like, that's cool. You won't be on this show for very long. Like, yeah. Matthew refused to see Gladiator. Refused.
What?
Refused to see it.
I was like, what?
That's a weird stance to take. Like this.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie. Your taste is trash. Get the fuck out of here.
Goodness gracious.
Bullet dodge.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, it's insane.
Who the fuck don't like Gladiator, yo? Like,
it was a dope ass movie. Like, yeah, this shit made me so mad. Yo. It really bothered me. Yo. It really bothered me.
You sure he didn't confuse it with Troy?
I mean, I still like Troy too.
Is this the one with is that the one with Brad Pitt?
Yeah, no, yeah. I like that movie too. The fight between
I don't like Brad Pitt in Troy. He just doesn't.
Oh, he's an asshole. He's an asshole.
Yeah. I prefer Gladiator. Look, Denzel Washington is also teaming up with Antoine Fuqua to play the ancient Carthaginian general Hannibal in an untitled Netflix movie. The film is written by John Logan, who also wrote The Aviator and Gladiator. The official logline of the movie is, quote, based on a real-life warrior, Hannibal, who is widely regarded as one of the military's greatest commanders in history. The film covers the pivotal battles he led against the Roman Republic during the Second Period.
I'm sorry. This is going to be hilarious. Like Hannibal by way of Brooklyn is going to be hysterical.
I mean, look, Denzel Washington played a fucking Scottish general, for God's sake.
No. I think you're leaving out. I think you're leaving out a major part of this. Hannibal by way of Brooklyn via elephant is what
look, it's Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington collaboration. I'm going to watch whatever the fuck they do.
100%.
Yeah, yo. Antoine Fuqua makes fucking man movies, yo. He makes fucking dick flicks, man. Like his movies are fucking dope as shit. You know what? I might actually I have the Equalizer 3. Man. Yeah, I might actually do that tomorrow instead of The Killer. Because I haven't seen part 3 and I gotta catch up. So I might do that tomorrow.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm not so sure it's going to be like the most amazing movie you've seen, and that's okay. Like I don't go to see Antoine Fuqua movies because they're the best movies I've ever seen.
Nah, I want to go see Antoine Fuqua movies to get the testosterone flowing. You know what I mean? Just fucking killing people and shit.
Let's go. Come on.
I loved his Olympus movie. What was it? He did the first one or the second one?
I think he did the first
one. I think he did the first one.
Olympus Has Fallen?
Yeah.
Yeah, those movies are amazing. They're great. They're ridiculous.
Yo, but that first one was I loved it, man. I loved it.
It was ridiculous, but I was here for it.
DC's movie Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow finds its writer in Anna Noguera. You're Spanish.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce
Pretty
that?
sure it's Noguera. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm Spanish too. James Gunn and Peter Safran's slate of DC movies continues to move forward. Anna Noguera, the actress and playwright who is now making forays into screenwriting, has been tapped to pen Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, a standalone feature centered on the Kryptonian cousin of Superman, being developed by DC Studios. No director, and the deal just recently closed. Okay. I mean, that's fine. So we're going to get a Supergirl movie. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm fine
look,
with that.
I mean, the talk here is that, or the sort of the big deal that some people have with this is that she doesn't have any other writing experience. This is her first script. Gunn came out and said that it was a fantastic script. He's really looking forward to seeing what they do with it. And people were like, "Oh, I can't believe they're betting, you know, the DC universe on somebody who's not been tested." I'm sorry, were you around the last couple of years? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you think it could get worse? I don't think so. Also, how do you think people get experience? They have to.
Zack Snyder has plenty of scripts. They're all garbage.
Right. Like, just
Like,
because you've been in
come
the
on,
game
man.
does not mean that you're good
Yeah,
at
that
it.
doesn't mean you're a good writer. Like, and if James Gunn was like, "Oh, this is pretty decent," like, it's probably a good script,
because
regardless of whether it's the first one or not. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, geez,
right. Like,
people need to think sometimes.
no, they don't, and it's really weird, right? Because, you know, that was my take on it. Like, if Gunn is saying quite publicly that he likes a script, it's a script. Like, this is not like when he said, "Hey, The Flash is really good," a movie that he had nothing to do with that was already coming out, and he has to be a cheerleader for the company. Like, he could just be like, "This script sucks. Go do another one." Like, he clearly wouldn't come out vocally and say that it's good unless he thought it was actually good. He doesn't have to. He could have actually said nothing, by the way. Like, he's not required to say anything. So it's very weird that people don't trust a guy who clearly is very, very good at comic book writing, like comic movie writing.
Also, I mean, I would be a little more concerned about the director, because the director has final say on all these movies. Like, the director can literally throw a script out if they wanted to and just rewrite the whole fucking thing. So I doubt anyone that they would hire would do that. But yeah, no, I'm not worried about the writer. And two, like, you know, it's not like they're mortgaging the franchise, the entire DC universe on a Supergirl movie. Like, they're not, you know.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's just
Touchdown Ravens, because I'm not watching. It's just so yeah. I never understood I don't understand it. You know, you got to get experience somehow, and it's Supergirl, yo. Like, no offense to that character or anyone that loves that character. It's not exactly like the character's not exactly the heavy hitter that you got to bring in, like,
right.
the big names to
make it work.
You know, make it work. And like you said, the big names fuck it up all the time.
Yeah, again, this is a very weird take. Like, oh, she doesn't have enough experience. How many, like, major writers do you guys champion who make shit movies? Sometimes you don't get it right. Like, just because you're a good writer in one movie doesn't make you a great writer in another, or actor or director, by the way. It's a very weird take. I feel like you're panicking over nothing. Like, that's my
well, that's kind of what people do now. Is like, we got to find something to be mad about, especially if a woman is involved, especially if a person of color is involved. Like, you gotta find something, right? Like, that whole thing with Nia DaCosta leaving the film before it was finished, right? Like, she came out and addressed it, right? Like, hey, production was stalled for 18 months, and then they said it's going to be another year after that. I got other stuff that I need to do. I'm going to go and do that other stuff, right? Like, it's, but people want something to complain about, And look, I complain about a lot of things. Spoiler alert, I'm going to do a lot of complaining a little later on in the show.
I can't imagine why.
But yeah, people will find a reason to complain, especially if a woman or a person of color is involved. So I get out of here. I ain't worried about that.
All right, next up.
Superman Legacy sets. Man, there's a lot of your people here today. Superman Legacy sets Maria Gabriela de Ferreira to play the Engineer, the DC Comics villain.
Hold on, let me go and let me go see how that name is spelled. Let's see.
Yeah, I looked at it. I like you added a couple extra R's, my nigga.
Ferreira. I roll my R's. I roll my R's. When in Rome, right?
You said Ferrari. It's Faria.
I think I think it's probably Faria. Yeah.
Faria? See, I'm not Spanish.
Maria Gabriela de Faria. Yeah. Yeah, that was.
Well, look at you. You got the you got the little
bit. Yeah, throw it on a little.
Look
bit.
at you turning into Madonna and shit. You've been there for a couple months, and all of a sudden you got a Spanglish accent.
Yo, when she came out with a British accent, that should be like, yo, all right, you got it.
What are you doing?
The Venezuelan actress, best known for her roles in Fox comedies Animal Control and The Moody's, has landed the breakout role in the film, joining the cast of James Gunn's Superman Legacy. Her character, Angela, I'm not going to say that name, aka the Engineer, is part of the DC Warner Flicks villain team. Angie's power stems from nanotechnology built into her body. Created by Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch, she is the second DC character to bear the name of the Engineer. The first was introduced in The Authority, Volume 1, 1999. Yeah, you see why I'm not? You see why I'm not? Yeah, you see I'm not? Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
No, go ahead. You got it.
Huh?
No, go ahead.
What?
You got it? Yeah.
Angela What? No, you know what? Never mind.
It's Angela Spicer.
Okay.
Because
you know what?
Because she's Spanish. She's spicy. There you go.
Like next up, a African American character, John Nigger. Like weird. What's he doing? Like, who came up with this? Jesus Christ, this name is a little too close to comfort.
Oh, fuck.
That's funny. Yeah, well, okay. That's cool. I mean, whatever. Look, I don't know. Apparently, Lobo was on the Authority at one point. Or no, I'm sorry, he was on Stormwatch. Never mind. Look, I don't know. I don't know anything about this character. I'm not going to pretend that I do. I'm not going to rush to Wikipedia and be like, oh, and then read some generic shit and pretend that I do know. I don't know anything about this character besides what Micah said about the nanotechnology thing. Okay, we'll see. I saw people up in arms, again, getting up in arms about something, what I think is kind of worthless, which is, oh, they didn't even pick like a classic character for Superman to fight. I think they already announced that the Authority was going to be a big deal as villains in this universe. So I think what they're going to do, just a guess, is they're going to build to the Authority. Like I think they're going to do the opposite of what Marvel did. Instead of building to a superhero team, I think they're going to build to a villain team. I think that's what's happening.
Did anybody have that complaint in 2007 or 8 when Iron Man came out and the classic villain Ironmonger was the villain? Like it's not like. All right, man.
Yeah, we're just complaining to complain at this point. We're just complaining.
Yeah, like you've already seen classic villains. 2, if they got that classic villain wrong, or if they got that classic, or if they killed that classic villain, you'd be pissed, right? What's every movie dork's favorite movie from their favorite director, right? Like the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, right? That first movie had Ra's al Ghul and the Scarecrow as the villains, right, not the Joker. So and everybody
like, you didn't even hit the B team. You hit C-level villains. Like they're
Right.
C-level Batman villains.
Right. So let's just give this the benefit of the doubt. And if it comes out and it's garbage, then we can complain about it.
Exactly.
I say as I'm about to not give the benefit of the doubt to a couple of things that we are going to talk about later. I know I'm a hypocrite. I know I am.
No, you're
But
not.
I'll admit it.
No, you're not.
Nah, but the difference
Because that
is
trailer's the worst thing I've ever seen, my nigga.
Look, like, no. The difference is your eyes work, yo. Like, come on, man. Come on. Like, this is just a story. This is just a story. Like, I'm at least okay if you want to complain when a trailer comes out.
Yeah, good, because I'm about to do that.
Yeah, look, I've been waiting all week. I've been waiting all week for this one.
Fucking Christ, man.
Oh, it looks great, guys. It's gonna be good. Yeah. So, okay, cool. Like, and look, this says she is a villain in Superman Legacy. She doesn't say that she is the villain. So, who knows? I mean, people were like, they're going to do her, but they're not going to do a classic villain like Livewire. Livewire is a big villain for Superman for you? Like, all right, yo. Again, I feel like you're just throwing shit out there. Like, you're just throwing shit out there.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
She basically just becomes
she's
like
Electro. She's Electro,
Yeah,
basically.
for DC.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, I was like, Livewire, that's the villain you're dying to see. Like, okay, guys. All right. It's fine. All right. Let's jump into more topics. New Mr. and Mrs. Smith series starring Donald Glover and Maya Erskine is set for Amazon Prime coming February 2024 with a bit of a twist. The story here is that in this version of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, two lonely strangers land jobs working for a mysterious spy agency that offers them a glorious life of espionage, wealth, world travels, and a dream brownstone in Manhattan. The catch, the new identities in an arranged marriage as Mr. and Mrs. John and Jane Smith. Now hitched, John and Jane navigate a high-risk mission every week while also facing a new relationship milestone. Their complex cover story becomes even more complicated when they catch real feelings for each other. What's riskier, espionage or marriage? Yeah, I'm here for that. I like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's not a great movie, but I enjoy it. I think Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie had some pretty good chemistry in that. It was fun.
Yeah, I like that movie because it was those two.
Mm-hmm. Frankly, they could have made a sequel out of that. They could have easily made. I don't know why.
I know Donald Glover. I don't know who Maya Erskine is.
I don't either. I have no idea.
I don't know if their chemistry is going to be there. That's why I'm like, okay,
because that matters. I mean, that's the heavy lifting of this of the series. Micah, your thoughts?
I'm curious how Donald Glover is going to play this, because Donald Glover doesn't seem like a spy to me. Like he seems like not right for this role. But what do I know? I'm just going by his comedic work and his Atlanta work.
Right.
So, and like you said, they gotta have chemistry, and maybe, I mean, I'm sure they do, right? Like they already filmed this thing, right? Like, I'm sure they do. I'm very curious. I will watch it. This might be something that my wife would be into, because a black person's in it, and it's got and I'm assuming it's got like James Bond style violence. Like, she can handle guns, but like not stabbing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll check it out.
Oh, I just saw an article. I have to put this on the docket. I need your reaction, Micah, later on. All right. Next up, Destin Daniel Cretton departs as director of Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. He is still remains on board for Wonder Man and Shang-Chi 2, however. Yeah, look, this movie, I don't know what this movie is going to end up being, if it still even exists as it is. Do we think that they need to pivot away from the Kang thing altogether as it's being rumored, or should they just recast and then just keep going?
They can recast and keep going. Let me remind everyone that Edgar Wright was supposed to do one of these movies, and then he dropped out, and then they got another guy to do it. He was supposed to do Ant-Man, and then he dropped out, and they got another guy to make an Ant-Man movie. Like, this isn't necessarily something that's just like, oh, the movie's done because the writer's gone and the director's gone. Like, if they want to, they'll keep pushing forward. What's weird is that this studio seemed so full of conviction, leading all the way up to this moment, right? Like that whole 23, 24 movie stretch, they were like, we got a plan, we're sticking to it. Yeah. Just leave it, trust the process, right? And now that they've had some bumps in the road, I find it hard to believe that they're just gonna like, well, let's just scrap everything now, right? Like a lot of this is the pandemic, right? Like if the pandemic didn't happen, like these movies would still be, on track no matter what. But everybody's screaming like, oh, this movie's doomed and all that. I don't think so. If I'm being perfectly honest, like they don't have a reason to. They're one of the reasons that some directors don't want to be involved with these type of movies, they don't want to get involved in the Marvel machine, is that they feel like they will be treated like a television director. See, in television, for people that don't know, the director is not like the end all be all for television episodes. That's the showrunner, the producers, right? The person in charge of the show. And that's kind of how this serialized movie making is, right? Like, that's why everyone's got Kevin Feige's name in their mouth, right? And he's picking these directors, and the directors, they can add their own spin to different movies, but you can color the picture any way you want. You just got to stay inside the lines, right? And some directors don't want to stay inside the lines. So, they'll just get another person to color in the lines. But that's my opinion. I'm usually wrong about like everything. So
that's true. Look, I think that there is a thing that people are not considering about this, letting this guy go, which is he's overloaded. And they want to make sure that he's not overloaded. Writing an Avengers movie, directing an Avengers movie. Wait, he's a writer. I'm sorry, right? Like working on an Avengers movie, and working on another Disney Plus series and Shang-Chi 2. That's 3 major projects you're trying to direct. That's a lot. Maybe they're like, hey, we really got to make sure Kang hits really correctly. We can't afford you to be like, have your mind all over the place. Like, let's get somebody who can hard focus on that. And they may have said, which one do you want to drop? And he might have been like, look, I don't have the time to do that. He did Shang-Chi 1. That feels like that's a part of his, like, that's his heart. That's where he really wants to focus. That makes sense. And maybe he's like, look, Wonder Man isn't going to be like too stressful for me. I'll do those. Avengers is a fucking lot. Makes sense. I don't know, this idea like he was fired and then they let him keep 2 other projects. Doesn't seem like he was fired. Like, again, I feel like people read headlines and then just go off to the races. They don't really think about what even the other part of the fucking headline says. If you don't like the guy's work, you wouldn't give him 2 other projects. That doesn't make any sense. Certainly not introducing another new character with Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who is a very big up-and-coming actor. You wouldn't give him a project with a director you hated, right? And you certainly wouldn't give Shang-Chi 2 a successful project, the sequel, again, another minority character, you're not going to give it to a guy you don't like. That doesn't make any sense. So if all of this is true, I'm sure it probably came down to this dude is overloaded. So probably just taking shit off his plate. Makes sense. Whether he asked for it or they decided, that's a different story. Who knows? But we'll see. Next up, yeah, I mean, the other part of this is the rumor that, according to Looper, that Marvel Studios is scrapping the whole Kang MCU storyline altogether. Yeah, I agree with Micah. I don't actually believe that. I think that's nonsense. I think there's a big difference between changing directors and changing the entire trajectory of an entire saga, because this is the multiverse saga. Like, unless you're pivoting to someone like Doom, more on that in just a moment, it doesn't really make sense to do what they're saying. It just doesn't to me. So.
Especially when you've written this, like, when you've written into your lore that, you know, characters can look like anyone because they are variants of each other. It just doesn't. That's my thing. It doesn't make sense, and no one has been able to make it make sense. Right. They're just going off of, like, they're hearing things and then they're assuming things.
Exactly.
But it's not, like, it doesn't make sense given how big budget movie making works. Like, unless you're David Zaslav, like, making a movie, we're going, right? Like, we're like, the train has left the station. Like, so I don't I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean,
I think that's going to get proven to be wrong. I don't know, but I think it's going to largely get proven to be wrong. Now, whether
if that was the case, Daredevil wouldn't be coming out, right? because that movie, right? Like, that show. I don't like none of this, and they started over, right? Like, right. Because, like, they want to get this out. So, like, I don't understand it. Like, this company is saying, hey, this isn't good. Let's start over again. So why would they scrap this and not bring it up? Like,
why would they scrap something that's bigger, more detrimental to the entire universe, and throw everything into a loop and costly, much more costly than just scrapping Daredevil? Like, why wouldn't you just do that? Like, it doesn't make sense, right? And you're not going to tell me some bullshit like, but the fans want it. No, look, Marvel is great that you enjoy their shit. They want money. Like, at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck about you, like, your personal preference. I mean, also, like, I saw someone say, this shows how Marvel is. Again, I don't know that these people even pay attention to shit. This shows how Marvel is just unwilling to recast roles. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Can you call Terrence Howard and ask him what he thinks of that? They got rid of him. They recast the young woman who played Casey Lang. They recast her. They just recast Thunderbolt Ross. They just put Henry or what's his face in it?
Harrison Ford. They didn't let that role die because the actor died. No. Right?
And they're like, well, they didn't do that for Chadwick Boseman. That was a very different circumstance.
That's an extreme circumstance, yo. That's a real extreme circumstance. And quite frankly, I think Marvel was being a little kind to the director
and the rest of the cast.
Right. Because anybody else, I would believe that they would just be like, all right, well, just recast.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, again, I'm not sure what movies you're watching, like, because it's just simply not true. Like, it's just not true. So.
The biggest thing that I can't stand about these rumors is that they're making me stick up for a corporation, for a conglomerate. Like, come on, man. God damn it. Yeah. I don't want to come off like a bootlicker, but Jesus Christ, guys, like, use some common sense.
They don't. Again, it's complaining to complain's sake. All right. Let's get into the stuff that's going to make Micah go crazy. It seems very, very likely. There is no official confirmation, but it seems very likely from some like very good sources that Pedro Pascal is said to have signed on to play Reed Richards in the MCU. Micah, you're a bigot. How upset are you that a Latin gentleman is playing Reed Richards? You were just talking before we went online. You were like, absolutely not, and here's why. Go ahead.
To be perfectly honest with you, when I first heard it, I wasn't as gung-ho as everyone else was, right? Because the Reed Richards, I have preconceived notions of what I want Reed Richards to be. And Pedro Pascal is such a wonderful person that...
but he's a very good actor.
That's the thing. He's a very good actor, right? Yeah. Like, I don't have a problem with him being Latino, right? Like, I used to work with a guy. His name was Carlos Vidal. Carlos was from Venezuela, and he was a fucking prick. Like, he was a real fucking asshole. Okay, he was incredibly arrogant. He thought he knew everything. He was hyper work focused, right? Yeah. And I'm like, oh shit, who the fuck does that sound like? Reed fucking Richards. So if Pedro Pascal can tap into his Carlos Vidal, then he can absolutely do this, right? Yeah. And I'm willing to give this the benefit of the doubt if it's true. All signs point to it being true. I love the fact that he's like almost 50. Now I need them to cast someone like in their 30s for Sue Storm. I've been hearing rumors of Vanessa Kirby. I think that's wonderful casting. If you look, this movie wasn't that great, but she was great in it in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Still ain't finished yet, man.
Wasn't she in a previous one as well?
She was in 7 also. She was in 7, but she really turns out in 8 because Vanessa Kirby is playing what's Peggy Carter's name? The fuck is her name? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
She's playing that actress playing Vanessa Kirby's character. Right? Like it's a layered performance and it's really, really good.
She's 35, by the way.
Perfect. Sure. That is the right age gap between the two of them because Reed Richards is a penis. Like he's very much a father knows best type of like asshole, right? Like he's incredibly like focused on his work and like those two met when he was like getting his like second doctorate or some shit. And he stayed at Sue's like aunt's house because she was like letting people board for extra money. And Sue was very young and she was infatuated with him. Right. And then they ended up getting married because like Reed's a creep, but he's known her since she was.
I'm looking at pictures of Vanessa Kirby. I understand, Reed. I understand. Good Lord.
And but he met her when she was at a very impressionable age, and he still treats Sue Storm like a child, basically.
Okay, that part.
And that's like part of the dynamic of those two, and that's where the drama comes in, right? Like. Sue Storm represents the modern woman struggling to be taken seriously, and Reed is the patriarchy, like very much so, right? And like that's where the conflict comes in. So I already have so many preconceived notions, man, and I get the feeling that they're not gonna do what I want, but I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited, nonetheless.
So
I want to see what the rest of the cast looks like.
Okay, so here's the rumored cast as of late, like before the strike. this was the cast that was kind of circling the most, right? Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, which has long been rumored. So I think that's probably a short shot too. But again, we don't know. Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. Joseph Quinn was in the latest season of Stranger Things. He was like, he was head of whatever their like D&D fucking shit was. He's got a lot of charisma. Like that kid's got a lot of personality. He's very, very good. He even has a hero turn in that latest season of Stranger Things. I actually like him a lot, and I think he was kind of a fan favorite. People really dug him as a new character. So I think he could play that well. He looks like he's roughly around Holland's age as well. So
he's 29.
He's 29.
And how old is Tom Holland? 12, 13, 14 years old?
20.
I don't think he's that old.
Yeah, I don't think he's that old. He's not 13. So they're roughly around the same age.
Oh, he's 27. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where Spider-Man
a fucking child.
Yeah. But Johnny and Spider-Man are roughly supposed to be about the same age, so because they have a lot of interaction in the comics, so that's good. And then who I think is an excellent choice if this happens, and I'm probably going to mess up his last name, Abon Moss Benrock. He's the dude from the Bear, the cousin from the Bear.
Yeah, I like him.
That dude is great. Yeah, he's great. So him as Ben Grimm. He's got the voice, like he's got the personality, like. Yo, just pretty much play yourself from the Bear. Like, I would be fine with that. Like, I'm not sure I could have thought of somebody better for that role than him. So if that's the Fantastic Four, I like it. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good team. I think that's dope. So we'll see. My guess is you probably get an announcement, or at least the. My guess is they don't do Reed by himself. They just announce the entire team all at once. My guess is you probably hear about them probably next week, is my guess. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope this is the team because I think it's a really good one. Next up, Micah, I'm going to need your thoughts. If you could just control yourself, however. Fantastic Four, new rumored contenders for Doctor Doom includes Matt Mickelson, Jason Clarke, and Ralph Fiennes.
Jason Clarke. That's the dude with the big ass head, right?
Yeah.
Clark?
Yeah, you need a bigger helmet. He's got a massive head.
Yeah, I don't know about
like a bobblehead, yo.
Yeah. It's rather large. He's definitely not Jason Clarke is not my choice. He was the guy from the Terminator movie, right? Is that him?
Genesis?
Yeah. Genesis.
Yeah. Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it. Nah. Doom's head can't be that big. That's crazy. Look, my choice has long been, and I'm so glad he's in the running for this, if this is true, has been Mads Mikkelsen. Like, long been my choice. I think he's great. He's got that vague European accent. I don't know where the fuck he's from, but over there, like, it works. And the character he played in the MCU didn't fucking matter, so who cares? It didn't matter. I just fucking recast it. Who gives a shit? That guy died.
Or just keep him in the suit. Nobody wants to see fucking Doctor Doom walking around in a silver suit with a green tie. Get out of here. They want to see him in a suit. Okay, they want to see him in the tunic, with the hood and the cape. All right, like you can just Darth Vader the shit. Just Darth Vader it. Get a big ass stunt man to walk around looking like a cross between Link and the Terminator, and get Mads Mikkelsen to voice him.
That's fine. Are you of those people, is Mads your choice?
Of those three, it would be in order: Mads Mikkelsen, Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I don't see.
Yeah, Jason Clarke seems like a wild choice.
Nah.
Now, like, if you had your druthers, and it could be anybody, who would you pick? Besides yourself, you fucking egomaniac.
No, I wouldn't be able to do that justice. Vincent Cassel was the model for Victor Von Doom when at the end of the 2015 Secret Wars, when Reed decided to fix Doom's face. I always thought he could pull it off. He's very old, but he's not old enough to not be in a Tekken video game. Yeah, you heard that right. He's going to be in a Tekken game. Yeah, he's going to be in Tekken 8, yo.
As himself?
As a French assassin named Victor Chevalier.
Huh.
He actually kind of looks dope.
Okay.
You should look at the trailer. He looks dope. I always agree with that. In another decade, I always thought Mark Strong could have been a good Doctor Doom.
I agree with that.
I thought he had the presence. I thought he had the voice. Yeah, my only thing is I just want to, at this point, I want it to be a situation where it's a stunt man in a suit and then someone with a cool voice, right? Like, I love Mads Mikkelsen, but that dude's like 58. And I'm not saying 58-year-old actors can't be in action movies, but I just want you to be around for a while.
Yeah.
All right. You just got here. I've been waiting since middle school to see Dr. Doom on screen the right way. Okay. So I just want to get it right. That's all. Yeah. That's why I'm not like, yo, don't pivot. Don't pivot. Like, because if you pivot, then that means that you kind of rushing shit. Don't rush it.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd rather be edged for another 3 years.
I mean, that's what they're doing with all the X-Men fans. Why can't I get some love? Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Wow, Vincent Castle. Doing very well.
Is that his wife?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Nigga.
You know what? He should have played Dr. Doom. This dude is the coolest
Hey, look.
on earth.
Okay.
Good. That's why I was looking. If you noticed my face, I was like, the fuck is going on? Is this a movie? Is this an image from a movie? Congratulations to you for playing the role. No, that's him for real. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. Wow, your wife is beautiful. What the fuck brought to you by JTD from the Edit That Out podcast. Micah, take it away.
A man was recently saved by doctors after cutting his wrists with an angle grinder because he was convinced he had colon cancer simply by reading about his symptoms online.
Wow.
That is insane. I mean, that's what everybody does. And WebMD is literally the worst. It's like, oh, you're coughing? You either have a cold or lung cancer. Like, what the fuck, WebMD? Like, that doesn't help me, yo. The bizarre incident took place on Saturday in this city. The unnamed man had been depressed about colon pain he had been experiencing for a while, but his wife didn't suspect just how desperate he had become. At one point, he told his spouse that he was going into the outhouse to get some firewood for their boiler.
Russia.
But he... but he had more sinister plans. It's Romania.
Okay, that's correct.
I mean, that's close enough.
I give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Closest answer without going over. Like, that was probably come on.
A few minutes later, the woman received a text from her husband telling her that he was sorry that and that she had been a good wife. Luckily, the woman immediately realized something was wrong, and she ran into the outhouse where she found the man with an angle grinder in one hand and his other almost completely severed. This is sad, man.
Yeah, that's really fucked up.
This is sad. Man's relatives told investigators that he had been experiencing colon pain for a while and that he had become convinced that he had colon cancer after reading about his symptoms. He hadn't bothered seeing a specialist because, it's a guy, right? Well, and men don't go to the doctor. Because if you don't go to the doctor, ain't nothing wrong with you, right? Is that how it works? He hadn't bothered seeing a specialist about his problems, instead making up his mind about the diagnostic and plunging into a deep depression. The patient is recovering well, and he is currently also being tested for the symptoms that made him desperate enough to cut his own wrist with an angle grinder.
No, that is a very specific tool, man. Good Lord.
Yeah,
he's trying to like take his hand off.
He was trying to slit his wrist, but there's a certain way you have to slit your wrist if you want to kill yourself. I'm assuming he is. I'm assuming he was going across the street. And you're not supposed to go across the street. You're supposed to go down the road. And you're not supposed to do that. Please don't. Please seriously, like in all seriousness, please. If you have those thoughts, please talk to someone.
Yes,
please. This is a sad ass story, man. JTD, please don't give us sad stories like this.
The fuck, man.
I can't make fun of this. This is just sad.
Yes, this is fucked up. All right, Terrence, you're up next.
Let's see.
Tell us a story about someone shoving something in their penis.
Yeah, right. Man takes venomous snake home to show children, ends up in a hospital.
It bit his penis, didn't it?
Cool. Let's see. I'm not sure. A man who found a snake while out hiking took it home to show his children, only to be rushed to a hospital after being bitten. The father from this place believed the creature was a non-venomous diamond python when he picked it up and was promptly bitten by the reptile.
Good.
On his hand. He took the snake back home anyway, assuming the bite had been harmless. So he got bit as soon as he picked it up and took it home to show his...
He's not learning any lessons, Like,
this nigga needs to have CPS called on him. What's wrong with you, man? But he realized all was not well when he began vomiting violently and his hand became badly swollen, triggering an emergency visit to the hospital.
Indonesia.
Micah?
Snake? Where are there snakes?
Everywhere.
Florida?
There are snakes in Florida. That's Australia.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. It's an animal story.
Like, this was
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, this was the most obvious answer is the correct one, right? It's fucking Australia. It's a snake. Whatever animal it is going to bite you and kill you.
The Occam's razor of bullshit.
Right. He was in the hospital for 6 hours before being sent home to recover. Yeah. He said the hiker was happy for me to share this story for educational purposes. The doctor said the hiker was happy for him to share it for whatever. Yeah, he got bit because he was fucking with animals. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to take him and show his children.
Yeah, look.
Again, I can't. All right.
I feel like you deserve it. I feel like you deserved it. That's on you. So, oh well.
That's pretty cool.
Yikes. My story is a bit of a weird one. Town experiences Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds in real life. This place apparently has just been attacked by birds. There's just tens of thousands of them. The crows are targeting people's homes and vehicles, but they are relentless in their attacks, pecking at and flying into windows until they start to bleed. It looks like something out of an Alfred Hitchcock movie, this woman says. Today, 17 of them were grouped together in front of the same window, and nothing was going to scare them away. A neighbor had to paint his car completely because the amount of scratches he had and the pieces of paint that were missing. When the attacks first began to occur around the town, many people believed it had something to do with the crows being very protective of their young and keeping humans away through their behavior. But the period has long passed, but the birds remained aggressive. In the last few months, people in the town have reported flocks of crows attacking homes and vehicles, often throwing themselves at windows in order to break them. They mostly hurt themselves in the process, but they are relentless. Bloodstained windows across the town stand as evidence of the crow's relentlessness, but no one seems to have a solution to the problem. Buckshot, I believe, is the shoot them.
Fucking crows is kamikaze for people fucking cars. San Juan Capistrano.
Wow, what a
Isn't that where like those birds migrate?
Yeah, the birds of Capistrano.
Yeah. Australia.
Because where are the kamikaze birds from?
Wherever they were, I'm sure they were with my mom in the Amazon when she was researching spiders.
Perfect. That's a perfect tee up. Thank you very much for that. Oh my god. This is in Spain. Absolutely.
Okay.
That was fucking funny. That's already become a meme. All right, let's get into trailers so we can get to. I feel like that should be the last one. I'm moving Rebel Moon before that. Like,
that's perfectly fine.
All right. What If Season 2 trailer? Look, I think the animation looks good. It looks better than the first season. And not that I had a major problem with the animation, but they seem to be doing an even better job here. It looks fun. There seems to be an episode where it's like all the old school heroes. It's like Cold War Avengers. So it's like, you got T'Chaka and a number of other characters with
There's Hank Pym Ant-Man. There's Marvel from Captain Marvel, the old woman from Captain Marvel. She's young in this. And they are apparently going that kid is Peter Quill. And apparently they're trying to stop Peter Quill from, like, I don't know, destroying the world or some shit. Okay. There's a scene with Goliath, because Ben Foster and Hank Pym used to work together.
That's who the other character is. Got it.
That's who the guy in blue is, according to
cool.
the toy sites.
Cool.
There's Hela working with Wen Wu to stop Odin.
Oh, I thought that story was her and Odin going to conquer Earth. I thought that's what I had heard. But okay, cool. That works.
There's Death Race apparently.
Yeah, that looks fun. That looks fun.
What else? There's apparently I read one of these scenes of them fencing is supposed to be something similar to Marvel 1602.
Yeah, 1602 has been confirmed. Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
I don't know who the Native American character is. And apparently there's a Die Hard like parody.
Cool.
So look, I think this looks fun. I think this is going to placate the MCU is dead folks. I think this is like the switch for them. So that they can say, oh, the MCU's back, right? And then the next thing that comes out, it'll be the MCU's dead. It looks fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's cool seeing Heartless Doctor Strange back. I always love Elseworld stories where you kind of shake things up a bit. So, we'll see.
And the release schedule is interesting, right? Because it's like, I think it's like 8 episodes.
9 episodes, 1 episode release per day.
Per day, yeah. From starting December 22nd, straight through. That's cool. All right. I will watch them. I mean, I assume they're only like 30 minutes, so it should be pretty easy. Okay. Like, I got fucking zero complaints. I enjoyed the first season. Speaking of complaints, Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child on Fire or Child of Fire. It looks nice.
Yeah, that's
Back
but
to
that's
you.
to be, you know, it's Zack Snyder. It looks nice. It always looks nice.
Yeah.
She's the lead.
Yeah,
I like
Sophia Boutella.
her, but she's leading the charge in this series.
Yeah. I mean, look, here's my thing.
Look,
This
all
this just looks like a mishmash of every. I said this when the teaser trailer came out. This is just a mismatch of every other idea Zack Snyder's ever had in a movie. I believe I'm not going to take away a point that Micah made. I'll let him make it, but I 100% agree with it. So this looks fine. It looks fine.
This looks like look. Let me start by saying I'm going to watch this. All right, this looks like the type of garbage that I enjoy. Okay, but this looks like Star Wars for edgelords. Like this is what would a 13-year-old like edgelord kid who's like into nerdy shit think about like Star Wars and fascism. I don't have a problem with this trailer. I have a problem with every single comment underneath it. Just look at it. Just look at them. Just look at every single comment.
I read them when I saw it. I was like, are these bots? Because this is a little strange.
I mean, like, everybody calm down. Amazing. I already know I'll be watching this at least twice in the first week. Thank you, Netflix, for supporting content like this. Please do more. Stop thanking corporations for providing a product
I just gave
that you already pay for.
I just gave that comment a thumbs down.
That you're not going to see because
shut up.
YouTube doesn't want people to get their feelings hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
Look,
another
I'm going to
masterpiece by Zack Snyder. Love everything about this. Can't wait.
I'm gonna watch this. I'm also gonna watch it with like my libertarian radar on, just to kind of because like this dude has very specific like ideals of what it is to live in society, and I find them curious. I find anyone who thinks that like Superman is supposed to be like the best of us, right? Like he's supposed to be the best of humanity, right? And he gets that. And the part of the reason why Superman is such an American story is he gets his sense of righteousness from his parents who are still alive, right? Like that's one of the big differences between him and Batman, right? Batman lost his parents, went down a dark path, and Superman has his parents from the heartland of America, where everybody is supposed to be like, help your neighbor and this, that, and the other, and his moral center. Well, because ain't no niggas there. His moral center comes from his parents, right? Like you got to do what's right. And in that movie, his fucking dad says, well, I mean, I couldn't just let those kids die, right? Yeah. Survival of the fittest, son. I don't know what to tell you. You ever hear of Michael Jordan, son? He was a tremendous athlete. He could do things that nobody else could. He also said, fuck them kids. Be like Mike, son. Be like Mike.
I don't, again.
And his mother, too. His mother's like, oh, don't worry, Clark. You don't know this world anything. Help him or don't. You don't know this world anything. What the fuck?
Like, that's the exact opposite of what Superman is supposed to be. Like, and look, I will never forgive Zack Snyder for teaching a generation of fucking comic book fans that that's what Superman is. Oh, he's not dark and brooding enough. He's not so fucking supposed to be, dude. Batman is that guy. Batman's the guy who's like, "Ooh, I'm in the corner. I'm sad about my dead parents." Like that's what it's supposed to be. That's the whole point. There's supposed to be a dichotomy between them, right? Like that's the point, and it's why they work. at the same time, like this movie, Micah, you had mentioned in a conversation you and I had, this movie is giving off serious Sucker Punch vibes. Like it really is.
Yeah.
It's just like Asian, Japanese, fucking this, and then it's like Nazi this, and then it's military this, and then there's a guy running next to an eagle in a spaceship. There's too many ideas. It's all over.
I think this is going to be Sucker Punch. I think, yeah. I think this is going to be Sucker Punch, but for every science fiction idea that he's ever had, right? Like every hard sci-fi idea, and his idea of, you know, the geopolitical like climate,
right.
Mashed into 2 movies. I'm super curious about it. Like I said, I don't hate Zack Snyder. I hope this movie is entertaining. I don't go into movies hoping that they're bad. I go into movies thinking they'll be bad.
Okay, there you go.
More on that in a second.
Okay.
But I don't go in hoping they'll be bad. So
right. No, the other aspect to this is there is a line that's like plastered across the screen. There are no heroes, only rebels. I'm not sure there is a better example of libertarianism when it comes to fighting fascism to say, hey man, there are no heroes. Like, I mean, we're all individuals here. Like we're all working for ourselves, and maybe we'll come together for some money, and then like that'll be it. But the fact that they even chose to use that line, I get it. You say rebels because it's Rebel Moon. I'm well aware it's not that complex. But the idea of saying no heroes, like this is supposed to be his Star Wars movie. You know what Star Wars has definitively? Heroes and villains, quite definitively. Like, yes, they are the Rebel Alliance, but they're heroes. Like fundamentally, they're heroes. And this movie, I have a feeling that's not how they're going to play it. Those characters are going to be just all gray as fuck. Everybody's going to be gray. And look, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that fundamentally, but for you to make your Star Wars movie, yeah, I think you're going to miss the big part of what Star Wars actually is. So that's just my, just saying. I'm sure people would disagree. All right, let's get to the movie of the year, Oscar award or Oscar contender, most likely. CW has a new movie out or coming, Madam Web. Okay, you know what? Micah, you have the floor. I don't want to jump in front of you.
This doesn't look good, man. I'm sorry. I don't. Well, one, I'm coming in this thing with a huge amount of bias, right? Because, look, this doesn't have to be exactly like the comics, right? But let me just give you a brief, like, history as I remember it. I'm sure someone will correct me. I'm sure someone named Cam will correct me. But let me give you a brief history of some of these characters as I know them. First of all, Ezekiel Sims. He looks to be the villain in this movie. And traditionally, he's not really a villain. He's more of a confidant. Ezekiel is like a double-edged sword because, like, he's kind of the catalyst for the whole Spider-Verse thing, right? Like, he kind of explains why there is a Spider-Verse, but the explanation is kind of stupid, in my opinion. I think it's dumb. That apparently he tells Spider-Man, he says, "Hey, Spider-Man, I have the same powers as you. I got them from like this spider totem. What if I were to tell you, how'd you get your powers? Well, I got them from a radioactive spider. Well, what if I were to tell you that you didn't get your powers from a radioactive spider? You got your powers from a magical spider who wanted to pass on his powers to you because you were destined to get them. And he wanted to pass them off right before the radiation killed him. So that's why you specifically, it sought out Peter Benjamin Parker to pass his powers on to. And I don't like that. It doesn't work for Spider-Man. Like the whole thing about Spider-Man is that like literally anybody can be Spider-Man. This could have happened to anybody, but it happened to Peter Benjamin Parker, who was going to use this for his own personal gain, and then a tragedy happened, and then that convinced him to right his ways and become the hero that we know and love. Right? Like it's that's what makes this story special. Not that he was destined to always be a Spider-Man, but all right, whatever, right? And then Ezekiel goes to explain to him, and he's like, hey, there are a bunch of like spider totems and animal totems all over the place, right? And they're in different dimensions, and there are these people called the Inheritors, and they like to eat people who have these abilities, right? Like, so this big vampire was to come and eat you because you taste tasty to them. And there are a bunch, and they jump through timelines and multiverses just
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm going to stop you. Please stop. Please. I don't want to hit like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Exactly. All right.
What are you talking about? What happened to this nigga just getting bit by a spider and like, oh shit, my father died or my uncle died, and now I'm just like the guardian.
No, magic.
That's why I hate it, Terrence. That's why I hate it. So in this movie, all right, this guy seems to be a villain.
Comic books are stupid.
They're very weird. They're very fucking weird.
What the hell is
in this movie, Ezekiel Sims appears to be a villain. And I was talking with a friend of mine, and she was like, hey, what do you think of the Madam Web trailer? I said, I fucking hate it. I don't like the spider totem thing. It's dumb. Apparently, this movie is kind of going to do that, but it's also coming off like a Terminator picture, right? Like it comes off like Ezekiel is going to be the Terminator analog coming to destroy anyone who might be affected by any type of spider totem. Which is why you see these three other women who are characters in the comics, who are all a version of Spider-Woman at one point. And it looks like he's trying to take them out. And Madam Web is using her clairvoyance, her precognition to kind of make sure that they are okay. Also, she's going to apparently try and make sure that May Parker gives birth to Peter,
That is correct.
or Mary gives birth to Peter, so that he can be the John Connor of this story, because this takes place in like the early 2000s, as evidenced by someone playing a PSP on the fucking subway. I hate it. I hate it. I hate all of it.
Look, agree to disagree. Dumb. I think this looks great. A lot of quality work has been done for this movie. I'm hoping that this is a what's Mobius or Mobius?
Morbius?
Morbius level.
I forgot the name of the shit.
Yeah. I think
you're right. It is going to be Morbius level. It looks like actually this is worse. This looks worse than Morbius. I actually watched that. Did you watch that? Did either of you watch that?
No. I've not watched any of these Sony Spider-Man movies. None. I refuse to watch any of them.
I've watched like 3/4 of Morbius, and I just tapped out. I stopped caring. Like,
they're all terrible.
They're bad.
The really Venom movies are not good, people. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck how much money they made. They're not good movies. They're not. Morbius sucked. Yeah. This looks terrible. I thought it was a joke when you showed it.
Yeah, you were like, I'm sorry, what is this?
I was like, is this a joke? I thought it was like a fucking, I didn't know what the hell it looked like. I saw
it
like
looks
BDSM
like
Spider-Man. I'm like, this is weird. I don't like any of this.
As Cam, I think, rightly said in our Discord, the costume that Ezekiel is wearing looks like we have Spider-Man at home.
It looks like a dude in a modified GIMP costume. That's what I saw. I was like, ew.
Yeah, I don't care for that.
I don't like it.
It looks cheesy. It looks like, as someone put in our Discord, I think it was Leonardo, making reference to the infamous Nicolas Cage movie Next, where he dodges the bullet, like because he could see into the future in like 2 minutes. Like, no, this looks fucking awful. It looks like a CW series. Like I'm dead serious.
I was like, this is a CW show.
But
they're putting it in movie theaters. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Sony.
Again,
and I even hated the music that they put in there. I don't like whatever the fuck song it is.
It should have been Evanescence. At this point.
Might as well have been shit.
Yeah, I'm not impressed. I don't think this looks good. I think this looks like very low effort. I'm getting a feeling that because we're seeing like the possible time change, that we're not actually going to see the other women as those characters. I think those are just kind of like
those will be flash forwards.
Yeah,
whatever.
like I think they're future events. I don't think you're actually going to see them fully realized in the movie. But maybe I could be wrong. They're fighting on scaffolding, which is like the same thing they've been doing in Spider-Man movies under Sony since 2000. Like they've never gotten.
Well, this movie takes place in the mid 2000s, so
Avi Arad is fucking right on with this. Yeah, I think the costumes generally look cheap.
Nigga, I am so utterly appalled at this Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman costume. It's the picture that I sent y'all. I am appalled by it. It makes me want to retch. I fucking hate it. It doesn't look good, yo. And look, normally when something comes out like this, like people are like, oh, well, it's just a trailer. It might not be, good. It might not be done yet. Okay, it might not be done yet, but they thought it was good enough to show people, yo. So I'm going to judge it. And it looks like fucking garbage. I hate it. It looks like a fucking Instagram filter, yo. It doesn't look good. The live action GIMP Spider-Man suit doesn't look good. The weird overlay of Julia Carpenter's costume doesn't look good, yo. It doesn't. I hate it.
I think it literally looks like when IG models, I put that in quotes, they get the spray painted on like superhero costumes onto their naked bodies. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like
that looks better.
I mean, ultimately, sure, I agree with you, but that's the quality that we're looking at. I think it just looks very cheap.
Is Dakota Johnson a good actor or actress or whatever? Is she? I don't know.
Oh, the
main woman. Yeah, I
would make a wild argument that she is not. I don't think so.
I don't know what I've seen her in.
50 Shades?
She was the one. She was the woman in 50 Shades. I didn't watch those, but I've seen clips of those.
It looks pretty bad.
She looks like we have Zoe Deschanel at home. Like that's what she's coming off as.
See, what has she been in?
Apparently she's got a lot of credits to her name. I don't think I've seen any of them.
Yo, this looks so bad. Like it looks so bad. I mean, even the scene at 2 minutes and 20 seconds where you have Ezekiel like jumping through what seems to be like a warehouse with like explosions. That looks like something out of a movie in 2000s. Like this feels like if this came out at the same time as Ghost Rider and Elektra and Daredevil and Hulk, like early 2000s that were completely disconnected from everything for the most part, I'd believe it. I'd be like, oh, this is their Spider-Man movie. This makes sense.
That scene that you're talking about at 2 minutes and 22 seconds into the trailer looks like he just activated. He lit a match in a fireworks factory, and now he's trying to jump away because like the explosions aren't explosions; they're pyrotechnics. It looks like fucking Goldberg is about to come out, yo.
Yeah, they literally. No,
it doesn't look good, yo. It doesn't. This looks fucking cheap as shit. This shit looks fucking cheap, yo. Fucking
Rey Mysterio's entrance. That's what That's what it looks like.
Him and Goldberg. Yeah.
That jumping out the sky. Like, okay. There you go.
Yo,
Yeah,
this looks terrible, man. This looks terrible. And look, I said it earlier. Apparently it is a fucking meme. It's Morbin time. This line and the line delivery is god awful. When Dakota Johnson is explaining who Ezekiel Sims is in the trailer, she's like, "That's Ezekiel Sims. He was with my mom in the Amazon when she was researching spiders right before she died." Somebody wrote that down on a piece of paper and had a professional read it.
I'm a professional writer.
I'm a professional actor. Like, what the fuck? Like, I know the material is not there, but yo, come on, man. Like, ad lib, something. Put a period in it. Look, no offense to Rashawn, I love you, bro. But like, did you write that line? Because it's just like straight. It's just
it is a lovely run-on sentence. It's a lovely run-on sentence.
He was with my mom in the Amazon when she was researching spiders right before she died. Like, nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like that.
Ironically, isn't that where Morbius got his powers? Researching bats in the Amazon right before he almost died. So, like, maybe, think about it. There might
don't
be
go
a
to the
connection.
fucking Amazon, apparently.
Yeah,
Jesus,
look, there might be a connection.
Christ.
Okay, they're starting to play live music. I think that's my cue to get out of here. What are they playing? I don't know. It's not good. All right. Yeah, look, I think this looks bad. I think it looks genuinely bad. I think no one should see this movie. Look, we'll see it. We'll give you an honest review.
Y'all will see it.
Look, that is true. But look, here's the thing. Please, if you legitimately think this looks bad, do not go and hate watch this. Wait till it comes on streaming.
That's the problem. People keep watching shit just to see how bad it is, and then it makes money, and they're like, cool, we'll make another one.
Yeah, stop doing that.
We'll re-release Morbius because people are talking about it. Oh, people are talking about it. It's trending. It must be doing well. No, yo, they're making fun of your movie. Yeah. They're making fun of this from one line. The movie ain't even out. The movie ain't nowhere near out. And your writing is so bad and the acting is so stiff that people have already made a meme of it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Good day. Jesus
man.
Christ.
I absolutely love it. I'm excited for her to say it's Madam time. Yeah. It's gonna happen, guys. I saw someone make a comment, and I normally do not respond to things I see on IG. But someone was like, "Well, at least this doesn't have all the like woke Disney stuff in it." I was like, "Imagine hating the word woke so much that you think this looks good. Like, is there a problem with your brain? Is your brain broken? This looks horrendous. Like, just stop saying woke. You sound like you're getting paid every time you say it, idiot."
One thing I do appreciate is I'm looking at the comments under this trailer and it's from the official Sony Pictures Entertainment website. And there's one thing that I love. I usually hate comments, but when everyone is on the same page and everyone gets the joke, it's a thing of beauty. It's everyone saying, "I love that part when," and then saying something utterly ridiculous because that's what this movie warrants. Nothing but ridiculousness and ridicule.
Quote, "I love the part where Madam Web says, almost every comment in the comment section of my mother's trailer begins with the phrase, I love the part where so meta, stunning, so meta, brave." Love the part where she goes, I'm about a web, and webs all over everyone in the bus. A moment of all time. Yeah, this is going to be a piece of shit. Like, it's going to be a turd. Okay. All right. There you go.
I love the part when she says, "I'm something of a spider girl myself," and proceeds to web everyone.
That's good.
Oh, shit.
This is going to be a huge mess. Yeah, look, I'm hoping that we do get a line that says like, like Ezekiel beats up Madam Web, and the other three go, "You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us." And and then
get out of here.
No, that's what you want. That's your favorite type of moment.
No, because they're not from New York. They're not from New York. It's got to be specifically. It's got to be specifically construction drivers, people in hard hats and flannel vests, on top of the GW Bridge, saying, "You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us."
It's such a terrible line. But it's
I love it when she said, "With Green Goblin comes green responsibility."
Yo, this is gonna be so bad. Look, this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be one of those movies that's gonna be an absolute blast to watch. All right, that's it for us. We will see you guys next time for another episode.
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.
Take it easy.